Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We are here today to show you a WattCycle 12 volt 100 amp hour deep cycle battery. Now this is the LiFePO4 battery, 100 amp hour again from WattCycle. This thing has got 1,280 watt hours. And again, this is the LiFePO4, which is a lithium iron phosphate battery. And this thing is going to be good for a ton of things. I'm going to quickly go over some of the pros of this battery and what it can be used for. WattCycle uses grade A cells, which basically in layman's terms, it means this battery is in perfect conditions. There's no defects, there's no swelling. Everything is working exactly the way it should. This specific battery has built-in BMS Protection, which means that's the battery management systems, and it will not allow a discharge in the internal temperature of the battery if it's reached over 149 degrees Fahrenheit. It helps it charge, it manages everything. So this battery is a smart battery essentially, and it can manage anything. So with the assistance from the charge controller of your choice that you use for solar, or assuming you're setting it up for a solar system, solar powered system, this thing is an intelligent battery. So it's got low temperature protection, which is good if you're living in the northern states or even in Virginia where we're at right now. So the battery management system will not allow a charging current under 32 degrees Fahrenheit. But the cool thing is it'll still allow it to discharge up to -4. And that's good because you don't want your battery to not discharge and hold during those colder months because it can really ruin your battery. So the battery will smartly stop accepting a current if it drops below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and that actually preserves those cells that are in there. The best part about the lithium iron phosphates is also they give up to 20,000 charge cycles. So this battery can do 20,000 charge cycles. Now to put that in perspective, you can go drain that sucker down to 0. I wouldn't really do that, you know, leave 10% or 15%. But you know, drain it down, recharge it up 20,000 times. Now that's insane. So that's why I'm a huge fan of the lithium iron phosphate batteries rather than like a lead acid or anything like that. These just tend to last a lot longer. You can have more cycles and they're more efficient. And I mean, this one is lightweight. It is only, this one's about 23 pounds. And again, it's lightweight and small. It's small for the size of battery that it actually is, and depending on what you're going to be using it for. Now, just to give you a rundown of some applications for this battery, you're looking at RV setup, solar energy storage. You can use it as an industrial battery. You can actually use this to replace your 12 volt lead acid batteries that sometimes don't have a lifespan that this one might have. Home energy storage and power wall, meaning you could collect the energy from the sun, use it as a battery backup for your home. You know, depending on what you're going to be doing, you can bring it out fishing, boating electronics, maybe use it with your trolling motor. You can use it on your recreational vehicles. If you got a side-by-side and you want to power some, you know, lights and speakers and all this other stuff. Off-grid life, this thing would be great for off-grid life because it has 20,000 cycles. I mean, you can burn this out during the nighttime, have it fully recharge every day during the daytime, and it can be used for deep circulation applications. So again, it has a large variety. This is the 12 volt 100 amp. They do have a 12 volt 200 amp and a 12 volt 400 amp as well, and the uses are pretty much endless. I'm going to be using this for a solar application, and kind of cool. I just want to show you real quick that if you were to take a look at the user manual, they actually give you a really good diagram, and again, they give you all of the parameters here. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be powering that shed right there. I'm going to set up a solar light system, and we're going to be using this battery here. Now, I'm using a 12 volt LED light. I'm going to go over all of the controllers and all the bells and whistles that I'm using. They're not going to be the WattCycle brand, but this video is for the WattCycle battery, okay? So I'm going to be setting the WattCycle battery up in here, I still have to build my shelf. I gotta wire it, get the controller wired up, and get the lights installed. It's really not as difficult as you would think. So we're gonna check this out, but I just wanted to give props to WattCycle for just a really, really nice looking battery. All right, guys, so what I did here quickly is I built a shelf. So I put some L brackets, I got a piece of plywood, and here we got our wonderful WattCycle battery sitting here. It's not bad. I did 3 L brackets. I did 2 long, 1 short under here, and I'm just positioning the battery back a little bit. You know, it's not perfect, it's quick, and it's not being touched. I'm just going to operate. We're going to put a light switch right here, and it's just going to be on and off, and we're going to get our lights installed. I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. So just wanted to show you real quick that we did build a small shelf here in the shed, just so we can get this all set up, and we can get some lights in this shed here. So stay tuned. We're going to go and start our, I got to get the solar controller set up. I'm going to show you that, and then wiring, and then we're going to mount our lights. All right, y'all, so we have our initial battery set up. So we've got the battery cables, the negative and the positive, running up to my charge controller. You can see here that the charge controller is on. I don't have solar power hooked up, so you have the battery powering the load if I had any on there. And the only thing we need to get attached is right here, the solar panel, which I'm going to use one of the solar panels I have currently. And the reason I'm doing that is because I don't have a big panel yet to mount on top of my shed, so we're gonna wait for that right now. So let's get the panel hooked up, and then I'm going to go ahead and run my lights and my switch, and that should be it. Bada bing, bada boom. If I did everything right, the battery should be perfectly fine. I was gonna do a discharge on this. This is a 12 volt, 100 amp hour, but this is my 12 volt lighting that I'm gonna be hooking up, and I do believe this battery will run this for probably multiple days. This only draws like maybe 5 watts, maybe. This is 1280 watt hours, so you guys can do the math on that. It's probably gonna run that for a long time. All right, so stay tuned, we're gonna get to it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so what I got here, I'm just gonna show you real quick. This is, specifically, this is the Bogue RV panel. Whoops, I was just going through my settings real quick. So what this is showing us is what type of battery I have. You can see here, I'm running at 13 volts. I've got power from my solar panel to the battery to the power output. Now, what you need to make sure is that before you plug your solar panel in, make sure you have the correct battery setting up here. There are many charge controllers that you can buy. I'm not going to, I'm not, what am I trying to say? I am not advocating for any specific brand because this video is specifically for WattCycle. I just needed a solar power controller, and I had grabbed this one during a deal, and it has all the inputs that you need. Now, as it's flipping through here, I want to show you exactly. So it says my power is on, right? So if my power is on through my load, my light should turn on here, right? When it turns on. So, and that is running purely by solar. But what I think we're gonna do is, instead of powering it through here, which you can do, there's a switch on this controller basically where you can turn this load capacity either on or off, and you can run a switch to here. We may just run it from the battery post to the switch because it, you know, you can complete the circuit or cut the circuit. It can go either way, and it's completely up to you on how you want to do this. Now, I just wanted to recap. I said that it could run this light for multiple days, right? So let's assume that this light is pulling 5 watts at 1280 watt hours. You're looking at about 10.6 days of use. Full time, 24 hours a day for 10.5, give or take, days of this. And if you have it plugged into a solar, it's probably going to be infinite, right? This battery is large, has a large capacity, and it's gonna, the MPPT controllers, just so you know, the MPPT controllers, they maximize sun input even if there's less sun. So you can go with the regular non-MPPT controller, but just remember, if you do that it won't maximize, even if it's in a shaded area, it's still, the MPPT is still absorbing the sun. And I will have the explanations about all that right in my description, which is the different types of solar controllers that you can actually buy for this. Alright guys, so I just want to show you how I got this set up temporarily. It's not as complicated as you think, so it is kind of complicated. So I had to kind of play with it in order to get this. So I have this, always test your stuff before you put it up. So I got this set up on an on and off switch to this battery, okay? So I'm running, and all of you can see here, I've got a positive running to my switch over here, and then I've got it continued on the positive to the positive battery post, and I've got the negative running directly to the negative battery post. If you do this any different, you can burn these wires up, as I found out already. So be careful how you do this. So now you turn this on, your light works, and you're off. So this is how we're going to be actuating our switch on our battery, because we're being supplied power by everything. So all we have left now, since I can display this for you guys, it's pretty easy. Again, on, off. So don't reverse your polarity, and that's where you get a problem. If you mess up your wiring to the battery, you can mess up that polarity on the for the lights, which it can get really hot or burn your light out, especially if you don't have an inline fuse, which you can use. In this case, we're not going to use one, but either way. All right, we're going to get this wrapped up, and I'm going to show you the end result. All right, y'all. So as we're coming to a close here, I want to show you what we've got. All right, so I will end up turning this light on a second. So I have my switch wired here. We've got our WattCycle battery. We've got everything hooked up to our battery. Oh, look, there's an extra blue cap that I needed. We've got everything hooked up to our solar controller. So I just wanted to show you this real quick, right? So we ran our light up here, and then I don't know if you can see, I have a light right there. So I'm gonna shut this light off. You guys can get an idea of how dark it is in here. And I want to show you that my light switch, it does in fact work. Lights on. Wow, that is, that's pretty bright. So lights on, lights off. So we decided to put 2 lights in. And as you can see here, I just got a generic light switch, and we wired it up. And it is completely being powered by our WattCycle 12 volt 100 amp hour battery. Now, again, this thing could last, I mean, I would average it out to 11 days or so, I would say, with these lights on 24/7. So as long as you have a power source outside, you know, as long as you have a sufficient solar panel, you should be good. This whole shed now is going to be run by itself. I don't have to do anything to it. I'm going to add a permanent panel on the top eventually, since I do have one that's out there. That is my temporary panel. But so everything went great. The WattCycle battery works awesome. I think this is going to be good for years and years, 20,000 cycles. Not even sure how many years that's going to be good for. So you got to give it to WattCycle. They did a great job. Good looking battery. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. And now I got lights in my shed. Alright y'all, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos up to come. Thanks.